All right. Time to get back to basketball. So we'll start talking about that in a bit. Okay. Welcome to Basketball Street Beat. I'm your host, John Barons.
And I'm Joshua Perkins.
Okay. I don't think this is avoidable. The big news.
Antony Davis has requested a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans. And also, Dale Demps has the opportunity to basically turn the tables on everybody who wants Antony Davis. And he has a chance to basically grab all these other GMs and owners by the nether regions. Oh, yes. If you want Antony Davis, it's going to come at a very high price because he has been our franchise player since the day he entered the gates of New Orleans.
I had, okay. So I know we could sit here and talk for a while about the potential of the trade. And quite honestly, I don't like speculating like that. This doesn't come as a surprise. And I think it goes to speak volumes for the New Orleans Pelicans management. Because this is especially Dale Demps. Because today is Antony Davis. Yesterday it was Chris Paul. Who's next?
I would hate to lose a guy like Drew Holiday. He has been consistent for us at guard. I just feel that Dale Demps, he did everything he could to build a team around Antony Davis. It's just the Pelicans, they just couldn't find that consistency factor. They couldn't find that it factor around Antony Davis. They had it for a little bit with Boogie Cousins, and then he left to go to Golden State.
Well, hold on. On that note, they didn't even try to resign Boogie Cousins.
They really didn't. Boogie Cousins, I'm pretty sure he was willing to stay in New Orleans. Of course, because of AD. But, when he went down with his Achilles injury, which, he missed the rest of last season and then missed part of this season, it's just, the Pelicans didn't even try to maybe give him a chance. And I feel that's a fault on the part of Dale Demps. Now, going to Antony Davis, I'm pretty sure the top, it's no secret, the top two teams in the sweepstakes are the Lakers and the Celtics. Now, who's probably going to land him? Most likely the Lakers, because the Lakers are willing to give up anybody and everybody for Antony Davis. And you look at the Celtics, they're going to be very picky. So it's going to be fight night in that room between Dale Demps and the Celtics. So
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Like I was saying, going back to what I said about Lakers, Celtics, sweepstakes for Antony Davis. The Lakers are most likely going to end up with Antony Davis because they're willing to give up anybody and everybody. Nobody is safe. Mm-hmm. The Celtics, they're going to be kind of picky. And the Celtics are going to try, I see them as a team that will probably try and pull a fast one on the Pelicans. This is where Dale Demps has to be smart. This is where he has to be aggressive. Now, for the Lakers, it's no secret. If I was Dale Demps and I wanted to find the best possible players that can replace Antony Davis, I would go after guys like Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and give us a draft pick. Sounds fair. Or you can give us back Rajon Rondo. Give him back to us.
Yeah, that was another one of Demp's blunders. I thought he was kind of stupid. I don't even think they tried to re-sign Rondo. Like, what's the deal there?
He did make an impact for us in the playoffs. And not only that, it's his veteran leadership. The dude is a future NBA coach. Coach. The way he can run the floor, the way he has that commanding presence. Now, if you look at the Celtics, if I was Dale Demps, I'm like, look, here's what I want. If you want Anthony Davis, here's who I want. There's 3 players on your team that I want. You got to give up at least 2. Out of those 3 players, it will be Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, including a draft pick. Oh, yes, for Anthony Davis, you're going to give us 2 star power players that are not quite of Anthony Davis caliber, but players who can make an impact, including a draft pick or 2 draft picks. Just saying. This is where Dell Demps, he can get anything he wants for Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm. See, what's saying with the Lakers trade is that you're going to do that, which means trading for Lonzo Ball. You trade for Alonzo. You're also making an unofficial trade for LeVar.
Yeah.
Do you really want LeVar?
Did I mention us? Like, did I say that we should get Zoe? Zoe can stay in Los Angeles because the last thing I want to hear is Daddy's mouth. Because if Lonzo comes to New Orleans, Lonzo's probably not going to play at 100%. He's not. We're not going to see 100% out of him. LeVar's going to talk a bunch of noise about how he shouldn't be in New Orleans. He's going to go to Dell Demps and be like, "Get my boy out of New Orleans. He don't want to be here." And it's going to cause nothing but toxicity. It's going to cause nothing but turmoil in the front office and in the locker room. Mm-hmm. That's why I said give us guys like Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram, including a draft pick. Or you can just give us all your young players, the guys that you drafted last season, and y'all can keep y'all veteran team to where the Lakers, you have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis, then you can have Tyson Chandler, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley, Lance Stevenson. But then you want some of the young guys to go ahead and add some depth. So where your depth is going to be. Magic Johnson's talking about he's willing to give up everybody for Anthony Davis. Well, what about the depth? Because we need all hands on deck. So Anthony Davis is probably going to be the only guy we'll give up. So, if you want to dismantle your team, go ahead. I'll watch your franchise burn right along with you. You want Anthony Davis? I'll give you Anthony Davis. Go ahead and give me all your young guys, and we together can eat some popcorn and watch your franchise burn to the ground.
Yeah. The Pelicans don't need to pair anything or anyone else with the Davis trade. Davis is the gemstone of that trade.
Davis has been the gemstone of our team since he first got drafted.
Right.
And I feel that a turning point as far as into why Anthony Davis never really had that consistent partner in crime out there. Because I remember when Nerlens Noel first entered the draft. We drafted him first and then we traded him to Philly. Remember? New Orleans, when we were the Hornets, we drafted Nerlens Noel. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking this about to be block party. Like we had drafted a Kentucky player 2 years in a row. But I was wrong.
So, okay. Well, what do you think about this season? Because, the leagues have always been top heavy. Always. But one of the things that I've seemed to notice is that this year, more so than really quite some time, it just seems like there's 5 or 6 teams that are really competitive, and then the rest of the league's just kind of meh.
I've actually been seeing that to where in the Western Conference you have the Warriors who have been absolutely amazing. You have the Nuggets who have been absolutely amazing. The Thunder, it just seems that Russell Westbrook has found his new partner in crime in Paul George. But then you have teams like the Rockets that, even with James Harden playing the most remarkable basketball of his career, they're just like, meh. Yeah, Portland, you have the LA Clippers, they're just like, eh. Dallas is like, Pelicans is just like, meh. It's just to where, even in the East, you have good and then you have just pretty terrible.
Well, the East is usually typically the weaker of the conferences. In the East, it's not uncommon to see 1, 2, or even 3 teams with losing records make the playoffs.
And I can honestly say in the East, the Bucks have a legitimate shot at representing the East in the finals. Just the way they've been playing. To be honest, my pick to represent the East this season would be Toronto. Just due to the simple fact you got Kyle Lowry, you have Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green out there. Toronto's been playing some of their best basketball. Out of the West, my pick would be either Golden State or...
Golden State?
Well, DeMarcus Cousins is active. He's healthy. their lineup is basically all-stars. You have Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, DeMarcus Cousins. But how good would the Warriors be if that lineup got dismantled? And I'm just going to go back to what I said. When the Golden State won their first title under Steve Kerr did with Mark Jackson's players. You do realize that Mark Jackson spearheaded that dynasty of the Golden State Warriors because he's the one that coached those guys when they were young, when they first got drafted. Steve Kerr just went in and picked up the pieces. And even after Mark Jackson posted some pretty decent seasons as the head coach, Golden State let him go. They put Steve Kerr in his position, and Steve Kerr won a title with Jackson's players. I'm not taking anything away from Steve Kerr. There's no doubt in my mind that he's a good head coach. I'm just saying, why don't you give Mark Jackson some of that energy? Why don't you give him some of that credit? Because if it wasn't for Mark Jackson, there's no telling, if Steph Curry would be the same dominant player he is today. There's no telling if Klay Thompson would be the dominant player he is today. There's no telling that Draymond Green would probably be that dominant force that he is today. Just saying, just putting it out there.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of went on a tangent about the Warriors.
Well, the Warriors they've bought out every superstar in the league except for maybe LeBron.
We're gonna see how much money they willing to spend because look, I don't want to hear nothing about Golden State, they went to salary cap hell. Well, why you think they did? Look at all the players they got on that team. But what's so good is that you have some players on that team, they're willing to stay in Golden State for next to nothing.
True.
But a team in the West that to look at would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think that Russell Westbrook and that Thunder team has found that swagger that they haven't had since KD left. I think OKC is a team to keep your eye on.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's safe to say that the Golden State Warriors are the most talented team in the West.
Yes.
Probably will end up repping the West again unless Denver can somehow muster enough to beat them, which they...
Or Houston.
Do we have... Okay, well, we had another co-host that was not able to join us today, but oh well. Anyway, so the Bucks, you think they can compete against Golden State?
I feel it would take a LeBron James-like effort out of Giannis Antetokounmpo to compete with Golden State. Just to be honest, I mean, the Bucks, they do have a pretty good team, but without Giannis, Giannis would have to give everything he has every single game against Golden State. I just don't see the Bucks being able to hang with the Warriors. Now the Bucks, they're good in their own right, and they've improved so much over the past few years. I just don't see them hanging with Golden State. I don't.
Okay, so what about the Raptors?
Now that I do see them hanging with the Warriors. I can see that happening.
Okay, all right. So Toronto Golden State Finals. What's your take there?
Toronto's going to put up a valiant effort, but I do feel Golden State will win the series. I would say Golden State in 6. I'll say Warriors in 6.
Okay. And then really the last team out of the East that has any real hope of competing with Golden State would be the Celtics, right?
With the Celtics, I feel they have a more complete team. It's just I feel that they haven't really been on the same page as of late. I mean, you have a bunch of alpha personality players on that team. You have a bunch of players that are good in their own right. I feel they are going to come together. The chemistry is going to improve. But a series between Golden State and Boston, look at Golden State considering the All-Stars they have. You look at Boston considering the fact they have Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart, Al Horford. I'd say Warriors in 7. It's going to go down to the very last game, to Game 7. if the Warriors play the Celtics.
So we are basically still looking at it every year that Golden State takes it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, it's just... Is this good for the NBA?
Basically, we're seeing another Alabama.
Another Alabama? Well, that's just what this sports world really needs.
It's just NBA, they haven't found their Clemson yet.
I was about to say. And then again, the Tide did get beat pretty soundly in the final.
And I'm looking, we're trying to look for a team that's going to beat the Warriors soundly in the finals, but don't know if that's going to happen.
It looks like you're about to fall asleep over there.
I'm fine. I'm good. Do I sound sleepy? No, I'm good.
So college, yeah.
Tennessee's tearing it up.
Tennessee. Well, they're a good team. I think everybody's still behind Duke right now.
Well, I mean, Duke, they had the best recruiting class this past season. Getting R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson, probably the top two players in the nation, last season.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you look at teams like Kansas, teams like Kentucky, and of course, teams that are usually looked at, Kansas, Kentucky, but some dark horse teams that we should look out for, teams like the Nevada Wolfpack, the Buffalo Bulls, the LSU Tigers, who have been playing their best basketball since this is the last time they went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
You knew I was about to get to LSU. LSU has won, I want to say, their past, 9 straight?
Yeah, 9 straight.
And they are 6-0 in the conference.
Yeah, only undefeated SEC team other than Tennessee, and they have a game coming up pretty shortly, I think.
Yeah, and then LSU, they have a game tomorrow night at College Station. And if you want to know how gutsy this LSU men's basketball team is, they faced off against the Missouri Tigers. I want to say it was it was Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday night.
And they were down by 14 with 2 minutes left to go. Now, do you know how much pressure you got to put on your opponent to be able to come back 14 down with 2 minutes left in the game? They force overtime, and they end up going to Missouri and knocking off the Tigers. They have another road test. They're going against a struggling but feisty and gritty Texas A&M Aggies team in College Station. But the way these guys have been playing just is a testament to how well Will Wade has done as head coach, and it just goes to show the winning culture that he's bringing to LSU. And I feel that they're not going to take LSU seriously until LSU plays against those teams like Auburn, teams like Kentucky and Tennessee. So,
yeah, but they are coming on strong. I mean, they scored 9 points in 36 seconds against Missouri.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
And just had 3 3-pointers and 1 3-point play.
It's just going to show these guys, they want to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just kind of interesting to watch what Will Wade has done with that team that has just been kind of mediocre for the most part since that Final Four run. This team looks even better than that one.
They do. I wouldn't even say mediocre because LSU men's basketball, they just had some horrible seasons. Like in Johnny Jones' last season, they won how many conference games? 1?
I think it was 2.
2?
But
still, I mean, they were the bottom of the barrel in the conference. Mm-hmm. And it seems that you look at guys like John Brady towards the end of his tenure at LSU. LSU was pretty much almost bottom of the barrel. Look at Trent Johnson towards the end of his time at LSU. LSU reached bottom of the barrel. You look at it was Johnny Jones, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Jones, towards the end of his tenure. I mean, by the way, Johnny Jones, he had 0 NCAA tournament appearances.
Are you sure about that? I thought he made it that one year where Mickey Jordan was the lead shooter, and
I think you might be talking about the Trent Johnson era.
Because
under Trent Johnson, LSU made it to the NCAA tournament, and I do remember that they were eliminated by North Carolina. I want to say it was in the second round.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the when they went up against North Carolina State, and then had that 24-point lead and then lost it.
I'll have to go back and do my research. But still, LSU men's basketball this season under Will Wade, I mean, this is looking better than the Final 14 they had back when they had Tyrus Thomas, Tasman Mitchell, Garrett Temple, Glenn Big Baby Davis. That was the team. I'm talking about the team that knocked off Duke in the Elite Eight. Or Sweet 16. One of the two.
Yeah, Sweet 16, but 16. Still.
It was such a long time ago. Like, I was like, back when LSU was in the Final Four.
That was back when J.J. Redick was still at Duke.
Yeah, that was the year George Mason, because LSU wasn't the only Cinderella in the Final Four. You had George Mason in there.
Mason.
It was LSU, George Mason, UCLA, and Florida won it all. And that was back when Florida had Joakim Noah.
Yeah,
and they had
Billy Donovan as head coach. Yeah,
and he's now at OKC now. I wasn't even a teenager. I was like, was I even in middle school at the time? No, I was 10 years old. It was 2004. I was 10 years old.
I was in college.
Now y'all know the age difference between me and my smart, fearless co-host. I was 10 years old. He was in college at the time.
06. See.
No, 04. It was 04.
It was. You sure? I'm pretty sure it was 06.
No, if it was 06, I was in middle school. I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, it was 06 because then that was the year. Because that was the same year that LSU went to play Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. So,
yeah, Notre Dame led by Brady Quinn and Jeff Samardzija and Charlie Weiss, their head coach, and James Carville went on there before the game and talking about Notre Dame. You got a really good offense, but defense wins championships. And LSU defense just shut down Notre Dame 41-14. I remember that score. Brady Quinn got shut down. And poor old Jeff Samardzija, who's now a pitcher in the league now, in the MLB, by the way.
So, first episode back covering basketball. Didn't go too bad. Could have gone a little bit better. Some equipment fails.
I'm just ready for March. I'm ready to see the upsets.
So, okay. Well, you're ready for upsets. Who are you looking at?
I feel it's a little too soon to say because, I mean, you see teams have these mediocre seasons, but as soon as they get into the postseason, like conference tournament, NCAA tournament, it's just they turn on a whole new gear, a whole new level. I say give it a little bit more time, and then I'll definitely be able to give you some upset picks sometime around within the next month. So,
yeah, right now you don't have like what was it last year? Chicago Loyola?
Loyola? You talking about Loyola?
Yeah, Loyola.
I feel a team to look at. But I have to go back and do a little bit of research.
Okay.
I'm wondering if Stephen F. Austin is still as good as they were. Because Stephen F. Austin used to be a team to really watch out for.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is this episode of Basketball Street Beat. Hopefully we can get a rhythm back as we move forward. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm John Barons.
I'm Joshua Perkins, and I'm going to take me a nap.
You go get yourself some sleep, dude.
I got to work at 5 o'clock.
Fun.